When someone comes up to me after like crushing it and they're like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm not doing this anymore, or it's too expensive. I already know the trajectory of what's going to happen to them. Was it hard to ask me for help again after leaving?
No, because it's you. And you're always just like, I got you. Okay. Times that I have left, you've been like, this probably isn't the best decision to make. Like, you need this. And you've never questioned me. You're just like, it's like, Mark, I want to come back. You don't even ask why. You're just like, yep, gotcha. And I think about it sometimes and I'm like, losing 30 pounds, it wasn't that hard. It really wasn't.
All right, Julie, so welcome to our Becoming a Better You podcast. So we're going to talk about your weight loss journey, where you are, what we're celebrating, and then where you want to go.
Okay.
All right. So let's first start with where did you start, weight-wise, mentally, and where are you now?
So this past time?
Yeah, there's been a few times,
there's been
right?
A long history.
Okay, so let's talk about just this time.
Okay, so this time I started at 225. I've lost 30 pounds, so I guess everybody knows my weight now. That's okay.
Your former weight.
Former weight.
Yeah, because this is going to be...
Current weight, if you do the math.
But then we're going to lose more.
Yes, I'm going to lose more. Yeah, so I started probably in June of this year. It was kind of like a rough start, but I really got serious about it probably in August.
Okay, so
August, September, October.
So tell me about this, right? Because one of the big things is that, number one, if people want to lose weight, they have to take the first step.
Right.
That doesn't always mean that they're going to be serious right away.
Exactly.
Right? So I kind of got to meet the client where they're at.
Right.
So what was the difference of you starting, because you knew you had to get in shape, and then really getting serious?
So, had been doing the sessions and trying to eat clean for a bit. Just doing the general classes. And then it was, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before my 38th birthday, which also happened to be my pre-op appointment for gastric bypass. And I remember I reached out to you and I was like, if I can't get this together in the next couple of weeks and start losing, I'm going to have surgery. And I knew that's not really what I wanted to do. So I started the coaching. And got on the meal plan and the supplements, and I think I lost 10 pounds
right
between when I reached out to you and my birthday and the date of the appointment, and so I canceled the appointment.
Yeah, and again, so some people do need the surgery to lose weight,
right.
But if you can try more conventional methods to avoid that, that's still on the table later on.
Yeah.
But if you can do it through natural means, we would always suggest that.
And I was right on the border of even qualifying. I was a couple of pounds off, but there's other things that they consider, like acid reflux, sleep apnea, which I had both. And I was on medication for it, which I've also come off that medication in the past few months. Right.
And so I think when people when they start losing weight or commit to a healthy lifestyle, it's hard for me to tell you all the other benefits that are going to happen.
Right.
Mentally, lifestyle-wise, other comorbidities, acid reflux,
mm-hmm.
more energy, better sleep. When I'm talking to people, you're not going to believe me, right? If I'd be like, oh, you get all this stuff.
Right, if you're not prepared to receive it at that time.
Exactly. And so there's been a couple times where you've come to us before, you've lost weight,
mm-hmm.
stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, what happens when you stop? Because I have my own theories of what I see. But you lose weight with us, and for whatever reason, you're like, okay, Mark, I'm good. I don't need to come anymore. What's the whole mental approach to that? What happens when you're not here?
It's not good.
Tell me.
You gain the weight back, and probably then some. That's usually what happens to me, because I've lost, there's been a few times in my past that I've lost 30 pounds. And then I gained back 50.
Right. And that's not uncommon.
No. So yeah, it's just not good. And mentally it's not good because you don't feel good about yourself. And when you don't feel good,
you make poor decisions.
You make poor decisions, and then everything else kind of just feels like it sucks. So
Yeah, so from my standpoint as a coach, and maybe you can help me understand this, like I know when someone comes up, now listen, I tell this to everybody. Being at my studio, it's not a prison sentence, right? If you want to be here, you're an adult. We'll work together.
Right.
But you're not bound by anything. We don't even do contracts, right?
Right.
But like when someone comes up to me after like crushing it and they're like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm not doing this anymore, or it's too expensive, or there's too much stress at work. I already know the trajectory of what's going to happen to them.
Right.
Right. And I would love them to prove me wrong, but almost never, no one does. Right. You're mentally now fried, right? You're no longer taking care of yourself. You put on more weight, and then you come back to me 6 months later. I've had people come back and they're like, I've wanted to message you for 6 months straight. Yeah. But I was like, you could have. Like, I'm not going to get mad.
Thing too, like whenever I would stop, like it wasn't a question of when I wanted to get back on track, like what I was going to do. I always knew I was going to come back here. Like I've never thought.
But
like,
why stop? What went through your mind?
Like all the things that you said, like whether it's, and really at the end of the day, it's just like excuses, whether it's like money or, I mean, you can't, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it, but
you also can't put a price on health.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna spend the money later on.
Or you're gonna spend it elsewhere. Like if you're not working out, you're not taking care of yourself, you're likely eating out or buying junk. So it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
And stress, like you said, like I'm just too stressed out. I have too much on my plate. Like this is just another thing that I feel like I have to do.
And don't you feel like that's the thinking that got people into that place in the first place?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely one of the more challenging things for me as a coach. Because like I have to tell the truth. Yeah. Right? Like I legit can't lie to you. I have to be like, hey, Jules, like, no, like this is not going to be the most constructive thing for you to do. But sometimes if they're not receptive to hear it, it doesn't matter.
Right. If you're in that sort of poor mindset, like, and you don't want to hear
you're self-sabotaging.
You're just like, just dismiss whatever you're, saying, that it's better for you to be involved in it. I mean, if you're not there mentally,
right,
then that's it.
Yeah. I was just talking to a lady, and one of the things, like, you have to admit you have a problem first, right? Yeah. Because I can't help you if you don't admit it. Because then what's there to fix, right? So I'm like, hey, so like, what's the problem we're trying to fix? Not really a problem. I already know there's no sense of urgency there. Right. Right. I already know as far as a coach, like, I'm probably not going to be as successful as if Julie come, Mark, I have a problem. I need to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to get surgery. Right. Right. Like, I understand that. So let's talk about I remember the last time, right? You were doing great. Mm-hmm. You got a boyfriend. Yes. Right. And I've seen this more than once, but because we work with a lot of women, they get a boyfriend, they get comfortable, they stop working out. Can you take me through that mentality of like why that happens?
I think in my case, and this is probably different, it wasn't necessarily a comfort thing. It was more of a stress thing.
Okay, tell me.
Like just a lot of stuff happened and I was just stressed. I just had a lot on my plate and, so long ago, it's like hard to even really remember like when I stopped coming or what was like that moment where I was just like, I can't do this right now. Right. But I was gone for quite a while and I gained quite a bit of weight and there, COVID happened and I think a lot of people gained weight because everybody was home and eating and whatever. So that was part of it.
So take me back though. So you had more stress because of the relationship.
Yes.
So was your brain like, there's too much stress, let me cut things out? Yes. And like cut out the thing that's going to make me less stressed? Like, is that kind of the mentality?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always trying to take care of everyone else. So I guess you could say like my needs came last, even though at that point I needed to be here. It was just the thing that got cut out.
Yeah. And I think that that's the number one thing I see with women. They prioritize everyone else but themselves. Right. And then you come meet me and I'm like, hey, Jules, like we need to take care of yourself first. Yeah. Right. Oxygen mask on you, right. Then everybody else. Because if you pass out, right. you can't help anybody.
Now it's different. It's like
you've changed though mentally, right?
People ask me stuff, and I'm like, I have kickboxing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4:30.
And
no,
because you made it a priority,
right? Like it's in my schedule. That is the thing that I'm doing on that day at that time, and that's it.
And I think just some note, because you work with Coach Josh, right, for the accountability and nutrition.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed in you this time around, not only did you physically change, you mentally changed.
Right.
Right? You can see it as a coach. Yeah. She has it. She understands. Right? And then it's just us helping you for the next 20 pounds or 30, whatever. Right. But you legit mentally shifted the way you're thinking.
Right.
That's when the change helps. Have you seen that in yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just putting myself first more. Like I said, saying no to things. You don't always have to say yes. Doesn't make you a bad person to say no.
Right.
So that's kind of really where the change. I just decided, like, this is what I need to do. This is what has worked in the past. You guys take all the guesswork out of it. Like, you literally give a meal plan. Eat a cup of this, eat half a cup of that, this many times a day. So it's not like I'm thinking, when you've been dieting for so long and you're like, there's low carb, there's Weight Watchers, there's this, there's that. And you're in your head, you're like, okay, I'm going to eat like this banana, but there's too much sugar, but Weight Watcher says it's 0 points, but like I shouldn't be having those carbs. And it gets really frustrating in your head. Like,
yeah.
Really, what do I eat?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is for us as coaches to simplify it.
Yeah.
Right. Just do this, follow the plan, and we got you.
Yeah.
Right.
I did. And the weight came right off.
The weight came right off. And was it hard to ask me for help again after leaving?
No.
Tell me why.
Because it's you. And
yeah.
You're always just like, I got you. Okay. You've never, like times that I have left, you've been like, this probably isn't the best decision to make. Like, you need this. But like you said, you've said in your other podcast, like, you can't want it more than the person. So, and you've never questioned me. You're just like, it's like, Mark, I want to come back. You don't even ask why. You're just like, yep, gotcha.
Yeah. And I think that, my goal is to help people. Right. So like, if you just want the help, like I have you, like we can do that. And I think it's just providing that atmosphere where it's okay to ask us for help. Right. Listen, if you were a member and then you stopped, like, I'm not mad at you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, listen, we talked about what happens when people do stop. I'm friends with almost probably every client I've had who's on Facebook, right? Yeah. For the most part. Not every client. I've had tens of thousands, but whatever. A lot. So when their feed pops up, I see them.
Right.
Over 80% all gained weight. Mm-hmm. Right now they're older, right? Because time moves on. Right. So like I already see that, if he just stayed, that wouldn't have happened, right? Or we wouldn't be facing these comorbidities like diabetes. We wouldn't be tired. Right. We wouldn't be pre-diabetic. We could have solved this 6 months ago. Right. But listen, if you still want my help, like, we're there. Right. So I always kind of like, we talk about when people come see me or when they're not working out, they kind of slide down the mountain. Mm-hmm. And then our job is to get them back up the mountain. Right. Just give them the kind of the steps to go there. Which is one of the reasons I'm like really proud of you.
Thank you.
Right. So now let's talk about, do you remember, because we knew each other before I had the fitness kickboxing back in the day. Yeah. We don't have to talk about that. But what was the most intimidating part of joining like a fitness studio? I mean, you already kind of knew me, so like you kind of...
I can't even remember the first time that I joined, to be honest. How long have you been open?
For the kickboxing?
Yeah.
I think we're going to celebrate our 7th year for kickboxing.
Okay, so I haven't been with you that long. I was thinking maybe 5 years. No, I mean, I thought it was easy. Like, I knew you and I always try to support, like, when friends have businesses and that kind of thing. So, no, it just seemed like the right fit.
Were you worried about anything? Like, are the women in class not being like, or you were just like, you don't remember.
So I don't really remember, to be honest, but like, I can say, like, having been here, over the years, like coming back, that wasn't a worry. Like, most recently at all,
Right.
because everybody here is awesome. And I've never felt like judged. I've never seen anybody like not nice to each other or anything like that here. It's just like, it's very like warm.
Had you ever been to any other like fitness studios?
Not studios, but big gyms.
Okay. And for a woman, what's that like?
Ugh, I hate going to the gym.
Tell me.
Just, there's just, they have like, the women's areas and stuff like that, which is okay. But I don't know, it's intimidating when you're, walking around and there are all these like really fit men and women. And, for somebody who's just starting out, you do feel out of place. It is intimidating. It's embarrassing. So it's hard, I think, to go to a big gym like that where, people have been there for a long time and they're just like, crazy about fitness.
Yeah.
So here it's more people that are like where you are. There are people that have been here for a long time who are in great shape that, you can look to like, I can have that. So,
yeah. Right. Yeah. And so what do you like most about our studio or our program?
You just feel good when you come here. Like I said, everybody's nice. I enjoy the workout.
Workouts are fun.
Yeah, the workouts are fun. You get to kick things and hit things and
Legally.
yeah, and you can pretend like, you're in a fight.
Or it's your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll be like hitting the bag and like my head will be down. I'm like, oh, but if this is a real fight, like I want to like have my head up, like,
Yeah, more than one woman has asked me to put a picture of like their ex on the bag.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
You think about, certain people. But no, it's nice coming here. Like I feel good when I come here. I don't ever feel worried or like, you have those days where you like don't really want to work out, but it's nice coming here. I like coming here.
I think any kind of workout's a good break from your normal life, right? The stress.
Yeah.
The stress of like work, the stress of life, right? Children. You have to make time for yourself or you are going to break down, right? There's no in between.
Yeah, I've had it happen.
Right? So how important for you then is it to have coaches who help you along the journey versus just try and do it yourself, right? So like, when we first started, you were just a kickboxing school. You had your coaches who just helped you in class.
Right.
But now we have a set of coaches who help you even out of class or eating. Like that difference is enormous, like in our opinion. How has that helped you?
So when you have someone that you're sending like all your information to about what you've eaten during the day and all that stuff, it makes you think twice about what you're going to eat. You're like, I don't want to tell Josh I ate that thing. So,
It holds you accountable.
Basically, yeah. And then there's like, other coaches, like people who are not my coach. I'll get text messages like, hey, I see you're doing like really well in your workouts. Like I've noticed a change in you. You're doing great, which I think that's awesome.
Was that Coach Kat?
It was.
Yeah.
Coach Kat. She's so sweet.
She's very sweet, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just good. I like the accountability and just the motivation. Like I think everybody needs to hear like you're doing a good job. Like I've noticed. It's hard when you work like really hard for something and like nobody says a word. It's good to be congratulated.
Yeah, adults probably don't get that enough in life, right?
Never.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I'm sure people have noticed your weight loss.
Yeah, few.
Yeah, what do they say?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
I don't know, just...
It's just a conversation between me and you. No one's going to hear it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, just like, you look great. What have you been doing?
Does that validate all the hard work you've been putting in?
Yes and no.
Unpack that.
No, I mean, it feels good, but I know I have more to do. So I guess I'm my own worst critic. So I'm just like, yeah, it's good, but I can do better.
Yeah, so I think everyone's their own worst critic, right? So having a coach that you can talk to keeps you in line, right? Because if we look at what has to happen for you to lose 50 pounds, whatever it is, you first have to lose 30. Right. So you've already accomplished that.
Right.
Right? So when you put it into perspective, well, you're no longer just here, you're here.
Right. And And I think about it sometimes and I'm like, losing 30 pounds, it wasn't that hard. It really wasn't. And I mean, like, it's the holidays. So, like, everybody's eating
Sure, of
at
course.
like a Thanksgiving level.
Yeah. I've had a lot of cheesecake the past couple of days, and I never eat cheesecake.
But it's like, okay, it's the end of the year. It's whatever.
But how important is it to not beat yourself up when you do eat like that?
It's hard, but I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, I also suffer from binge eating disorder. So, like, I am especially hard on myself, like, when I get to that point. So, it's important not to, like, you don't want to make yourself feel bad about it, but it's a big deal too. Like, it's
to find that balance.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just be like, if you have a goal to lose weight, you got to find like some self-control there too.
But I'm saying, like, because we know that, yeah, you're losing all this weight, you're eating healthy. There will be days where you don't eat as good as you want to.
Right.
But it doesn't do you any good to beat yourself up, right? And take it out on yourself, because that just puts you in that negative state. Like, now once we're feeling negative, we make poorer decisions. But just being like, okay, I didn't eat that great that day.
Right.
Let me eat better and maybe work out even harder the next day.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Just to kind of...
That's part of it, definitely.
Get that balance. Do you think that's something that you've learned or that you're still learning?
No, I think that's something that I know and I take with me, like, through this journey of losing weight. Like, yeah, there has to be a balance. With, like I said, like with binge eating disorder, it's hard because if you over restrict yourself, you set yourself up for a binge, but you almost have to restrict yourself because it's like they say, like, one is never enough, but 20s. No, what is the saying?
That's your saying.
Like 20 is never enough, but one is too many. Like,
okay,
that first, like,
I got you.
Like if you put a drop of alcohol in an alcoholic's, soda and they didn't know it, like, would that be enough to trigger them?
Okay.
To keep drinking. It's the same thing with like sugar. For somebody with an eating disorder like that, you almost have to cut things out. But then on the other hand, like, if you're too restrictive, you're also setting yourself up. So that's hard for me. So
what would happen in like a binge eating moment or like day? Is it that you had something that set you off and you would just keep eating the whole day?
Yeah.
That's what happens?
Yeah.
And so when you go to the next day, do you still continue that, or like?
It can be like one like episode of it, or it can last for a long time. I mean, I've had in my past, like, where I've gone months binging just due to like stress or whatever.
And do they say, because this is not my specialty, do they say like, if it is caused by stress or whatever, like, go exercise, like take that energy and put it towards something else? Yeah,
you definitely have to find coping mechanisms.
Okay.
Like, when you feel like you're going to binge, go for a walk, take the dog for a walk.
So kind of break that thought momentum?
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything else.
And how long have you dealt with that?
Since I was in my 20s.
Okay.
On and off. I mean, I've also gone months without doing it. So I think, like, being with the coaching and having that meal plan, there's really nothing on that meal plan that triggers me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's all healthy.
It's all healthy.
Right. And I people tell me when on the meal plan, they're like, it's so much food.
It's a lot.
Right. They're like, I can't even finish it.
Yeah,
like, eat what you can.
I can't finish. Yeah.
Right. Because I think when there's a meal plan, people automatically think of like, I'm not going to eat anything.
I'm not going to have this. Yeah.
Right. And then we give them the meal plan, like, I couldn't even finish that.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's all healthy, so you're not going to gain the weight.
Right.
Right. Because just the way you're eating and everything, you don't gain weight on that plan.
Right.
You eat.
Actually, interestingly enough, maybe I shouldn't tell people this, but the printout of the plan was on a yellow piece of paper. So I thought that the oranges
that's my faux pas.
were whatever the carb color is.
Yeah,
so I was eating carbs at dinner. I was still losing weight.
Yeah.
Like,
so
for the first few weeks until I realized that what I thought was a carb was supposed to be a fat.
Yeah, I should have printed that on white paper.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore, but that's,
That messed me up, but I still lost weight.
Yeah,
so.
you still look good.
Yeah.
Blame it on Josh. So
Oh, no.
how has our studio helped you live a better life?
Just, it makes me feel good to like have something like when I tell people I kickbox, they're like, oh my God, like that's so cool. I've always wanted to do that. It's like empowering. Like you kind of feel badass. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm going to kickboxing. I love like saying that. Like, sorry, I have kickboxing.
Versus I'm just going on the elliptical.
Yeah.
Right.
Just, I'm not the gym.
I'm going to ride the bike.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think that's you could use any mode of fitness to lose weight. Dancing,
Mm-hmm.
pole dancing, they have that fitness now. Zumba, that's like dancing. Whatever it is. Bar, doesn't matter, yoga.
Mm-hmm.
But like kickboxing, yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You get to hit things.
Exactly.
And that it fits into our martial arts motif, but like, yeah, that's fun.
It is fun.
Right? And to get your aggression out. Like, listen, I use the like elliptical.
Mm-hmm.
I feel better after the elliptical, but like my aggression wouldn't get out as it would of just punching stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And beating it up, especially putting the bag on the ground.
Yeah. And I always feel like energized after I leave here. Like I go home and like clean the entire house.
I think when I meet with people, one of the things is like, I have no energy to work out. And just telling them, if you only knew that if you did work out, you'd have so much energy to do other things.
That and the pre-workout.
These supplements. Yes.
Like, yeah, you need to have that.
So I think we talked about this before, but like I was never a supplements guy, right? But I went through the training with Prestige Labs. They were like top of the list. I was like, okay, these are good.
Yeah.
We tried them first. I take them every day. They're amazing.
I love them.
Right? So talk to me about the supplements that you really love that we recommend. So the Pre-Step, which is the pre-workout.
Which is a pre-workout. Like, if you don't have that, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Like, if you don't have a sensitivity to caffeine, you need that.
Well, and the whole thing is Pre-1 has no caffeine.
Yeah.
You could just take the Pre-2, which is the caffeine.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want caffeine, you don't have to take it.
I want caffeine.
Yeah, me too. So when you take the pre-workout, for me, it zones me in. Like I feel like zoned in.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I took it, I was like,
yeah, now that you say that, it is puts you like you look laser focused.
yeah,
Like,
kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
And they're all natural substances, so it's not like they're medication.
Sometimes I take it just to clean my house.
Yeah, so you know what I do? I take the Pre-Step 2 in the morning when I wake up
Yeah.
instead of having my coffee.
Okay.
And then have my coffee later. So I have the Pre-Step when I wake up. And I'm just like zoned in.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes coffee doesn't work. That's not a bad idea.
I know. Okay, so you like the Pre-Step.
I do. I love the pre-step. I do the Burn AM.
Burn AM.
Burn PM.
Yep.
The Sleep Multiplier.
So the three fat burners are the Burn AM, the Burn PM, and the Sleep.
Yes.
Those are like the three main fat burners.
Yes.
All great. And then for the sleep one, I told people that it's like, like you had a really good day, you did a lot of things, and then you're just in bed and you kind of just slowly fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel the Sleep Multiplier does to me.
I don't have a problem sleeping or falling asleep, but then Josh told me it burns fat while you're sleeping.
It does,
and
yep.
I was like, okay, get me some of that. So, yeah, I guess it does like give you a better quality of sleep, I would say. But as far as like falling asleep, I never really had a problem with that. But so I enjoy that one. I've done the Test Storm.
Yep.
I haven't had that one in a while. I like initially when I got it, I got like the full package with all the things.
Sure.
What else was in there? The collagen I've done.
The collagen gummies, yep.
Those are pretty tasty.
There's like have you done the last minute cleanse?
I have.
Yeah.
Times.
So as a dude, like I didn't know like I could get bloated, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I know I'm a fitness guy.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then I took the last minute cleanse.
Yeah.
And like I had a 6-pack by like 3 days later.
Oh man.
Because it takes the bloat out.
Yeah.
If you eat a lot of protein, like you can get bloated.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So now I take it before I have to go out. Like if I'm going out.
No, I take it every day.
But no, it totally like, and they work. That's the whole thing. So the supplements are just aids to help the client get there faster, right? we would never sell something that didn't work. Like, I don't need your money that bad to sell you garbage, right? I would just rather you get results so you stay longer and you're happier.
Yeah.
Right? Why do you think most people stay overweight?
Because they think that they can't lose the weight.
Tell me.
I mean, like for me, for example, you know, one of the times that I lost weight was after I had my second child. When he was 2 months old, I did Insanity from home. I lost 30 pounds doing that. Then I gained all the weight back. And I told myself that Insanity wouldn't work. Why? Yeah, it was the mindset at the time. Like, it worked before.
Do you feel defeated because you put the weight back on?
Oh yeah, it feels awful when you put the weight back on, because you're like, especially that time, like I wasn't as heavy, so I was pretty much at a weight that I would have been comfortable with. Like, I'm at my current weight now, like I have a ways to go, but I at least feel comfortable. Like, I'm not hiding like I was before at 225. Like, I felt just disgusting. So it's just like, it's your mind. Your mind's so powerful. Like, I literally told myself that something that I have done wouldn't work a second time. Like, don't do that. That's not going to work.
And do you think a lot of women do that?
Yeah. And then also, you know, going back to like the stress in my relationship, like my ex told me that kickboxing was stupid because you can't stick with it. I mean, I think plenty of people have significant others who say stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say there's been plenty of people who stick with kickboxing. So,
well, yeah,
right, that's too, a falsified statement.
But like, I was of the mind to be strong enough to be like, well, that's like BS. Like, right. You're just saying that because you can't do something like that, and you just want to make me feel bad. But I'm sure there are plenty of women who would be like, he's right. I can't stick with it. I probably have left here and come back more than anyone. If you have anyone else that has left and come back more times than me.
No, you might hold the record, actually. Yeah. I think that, you know, when people see other people improving, mm-hmm. it scares them.
Especially
right?
If they're not doing anything to improve themselves.
Right, because they're going to get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't been in that situation like that, but I can imagine from a guy's perspective, mm-hmm. if I'm dating you and I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting on, I don't know what he did, I'm not talking about him specifically, but mm-hmm. just in this made up scenario, I'm at home, right? And now you're going to get healthy, you're getting more positive, you're losing weight. Well, I'm like,
right.
She could find another guy.
Right, and he's not like the only one that's ever said anything like that to me. Like, there have been other, you know, just people just, like you said, like, sometimes you're just in those situations where somebody's not doing for themselves and they see you going out and try to improve. And instead of them going out, I mean, it doesn't have to be fitness, but they could go out and improve themselves in some other aspect of their life. They choose not to, and they want to bring you down. And so that's hard to tell yourself, like, they're not right.
Yes, and I agree with that. It's definitely, if you tell me that, man, I will let you go so fast, right? Because I just have this commitment to improving myself.
Right.
And I just think if more people understood that,
right.
like, and this is what's so fun because you're learning that, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's what holds people down. Like, my commitment to improving myself, if you try to stay in the way of me doing my stuff, mm-hmm. like, I'm going to bounce on you, mm-hmm. right? You know, like, if you're like, hey, Mark, you know, don't go to work or don't write that book, I'm like, of course I'm doing that. Like, it's not even a question because I prioritize what I want to do, where I want to go. But I think a lot of people will be like, okay, he's right. Or like, let me not upset the apple cart. Mm. Right. And I think that it's really important for people to understand, like, you have to take care of yourself first. You have to improve yourself every day. Right. If I don't do something every day to improve myself or improve my business, I feel sad at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
And I just don't let those crabs keep you down.
Right.
Right. Like, go forward and become your best you. Was it hard to, like, still put yourself first when your significant other is like trying to hold you back for whatever reason?
No, this is like you said, like I'm the same way. Like if I have a plan in my head, there's nothing that you're going to say to me that's going to make me not do the thing that I want to do.
Because you made a decision to do it.
Right.
But let's talk about before you really honed in on that decision.
Yeah, I mean, that would have probably been, I could have said, well, maybe he's right. Like I've quit a million times. Like what's different now?
Right.
But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Do you think you've grown from that experience though, from the 5 years to now?
Yeah, I've grown a lot in 5 years.
Tell me how.
I've just been through a lot, and I've just realized a lot of things. And you can't change people. You can change yourself. Some people will have like perception of you, and that's fine. But what really matters is what you think about yourself.
Correct.
So that's it. That's my takeaway from the last 5 years. So, I've had to like let a lot of people go. And
don't you think that's necessary for growth though?
Yeah.
If they're not on your vibe?
It's been good because exactly like, I've had to have conversations with people. Like I'm ready to like level up here. Like most people like get married, have kids, have a little house. And that's all well and good. But then once you get there, do you just stop?
So one question I actually wanted to ask you, do you think comfort kills people? Right? So when you get comfortable in life,
mm-hmm.
you put on weight, you would in any kind of area, money, relationships, like fitness, like when you get comfortable, you stop improving.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like we always need to be able to come out of our comfort zone and be like, let me push the envelope a little bit. Now, it's okay to relax and feel good. Mm-hmm. But listen, what happens when people get comfortable in a relationship? You both put on 20 pounds.
Right.
Right? And that's good for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you feel about, comfort and what happens to people when they get comfortable in their job, right? People get comfortable in their job, mm-hmm. and you're doing the same job you did for 35 years.
Right.
Same. I talk to people, and I'll let you answer in a second. I talk to people, and I'm like, oh, you want to be like a manager or like a supervisor? It's like, nah, it's too much work. And for me, I'm like, I would try to climb that ladder. Like, mm-hmm. I would try to go, whoop, but some people are just very comfortable just doing what they're doing, not wanting that responsibility of being in charge of people or, right. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's okay for some people. Like, I don't own a business, but like I work for a small business, so I see the hard work that goes into like all the behind the scenes stuff. It's not for everybody.
True, I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, I think comfort can definitely be dangerous as far as like, just being like, okay, I'm with this person. He thinks I'm beautiful. He tells me I'm beautiful. And I gained 50 pounds and that's okay. And then...
So that brings me actually to a really good question that I want to get your perspective on.
Mm-hmm.
So in society today,
mm-hmm.
if there was a woman who, let's just say 50 pounds overweight.
Okay.
Right? Well, you can't say anything to her to be like, let's say your name is Jane. Mm-hmm. Jane, you might be beautiful inside, mm-hmm. right? You might like the way you look, but you're not healthy.
Right.
You still have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Versus society today is like, we'll just tell her she's beautiful, right? Like, beauty is perception. I get that.
Yes.
But you're still not healthy.
Right.
But we're not telling women the truth. Like, diabetes doesn't care if everyone thinks you're pretty.
Exactly.
Diabetes will still kill you.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
Can you elaborate from a woman's perspective? Because, like, as a man, like, obviously I would never advocate going up to somebody and being like, hey, Jane, you need to lose weight. It's my job as a coach to say that. But, like, society can't, maybe it's your mom, whatever, like, you need to lose weight.
So I always think of, and I guess I call her out because she's never going to see this. I think her name, the actress, is Chrissy Metz from This Is Us.
Okay.
She is big. I think recently she might have lost weight, but I follow her because I love her. She's, like you said, beautiful inside. She's a beautiful woman. But it's very clear that, like, she's very, very overweight. And I see people, like, commenting on her posts, like, you're so beautiful, like, everybody, because she's a beautiful person. Like, inside, like, she's a good person. So it makes people want to, like, just say you're just, as a whole, you're beautiful. But, like, in my head, I don't want to be like the troll on there being like, Chrissy, you need to lose weight.
Well, this is what I'm saying. And listen, you can be beautiful.
Yeah.
You can be beautiful having extra weight on you. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But like at some point, you could be, what's her name?
I think it's Chrissy Metz.
Chrissy Metz.
Not like
you're beautiful. People think you're pretty, but you're not healthy.
You're not healthy.
And guess what's going to happen? Well, you're going to get diabetes. You're going to get high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. You could possibly have a stroke.
Heart attack. You
could have a heart attack. So like, you're this good now. Let's lose some weight together.
Yeah.
Right? But it's almost like you can't broach that, but it's holding women back.
I
right?
agree with you.
Because the movement that big is beautiful is fine, but it's not healthy. And who's going to tell them that? You can't. And you know what's going to happen? Well, no one told you for 20 years, but all those people that were like, hey, Jane, like, you're beautiful, you're big and beautiful. Are they with you in the hospital bed because you had a heart attack?
Right.
No? They're saying, get well soon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like setting women up to fail because it allows them to be comfortable or ignore the problem and then not take action. Yeah. When you really need people to be like, hey, Jane, I got you. I love you. You're pretty. Let's lose some weight together and get healthy.
Yeah.
Have you seen that like in society where people say that? All this stuff.
The biggest people. Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time. Like there are so many, even when I go on Facebook, there are ads for like underwear with like a very heavy woman. Which, I mean, everybody needs underwear. But
sure. Unless you don't wear it.
True.
Right.
But it's not healthy.
Yeah, I think you can say it in a way where you're not trying to hurt their feelings. You're just trying to help them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think I can say that because I think that even for myself. Like, I'm like, people are like, you're pretty, you're this, like, okay, that's fine. But I know I'm not healthy at the weight, that I was. I know I still need to lose weight because, I mean, I kind of don't go by like, what the ideal, I mean, if you like looked in a textbook what I should weigh, it's like 120 pounds. I'm never going to weigh that, nor do I care to. But I know that I need to take some weight off, plus the fact that like every year, especially around the holidays, people gain a few pounds.
Sure.
And the problem is they never put it off. So say you gain 5 pounds, 10 pounds every Christmas and you never put it off. Within a couple of years, you've gained 30 pounds.
Right. And as far as the body goes, like your body does not want to carry around that extra weight. So like even in physical therapy, a lot of people I would see for back problems, knee problems, hip problems, because they were overweight.
Right.
Right. So your body has all that mass it has to move.
Right.
Right. Well, think if you were a caveman back in the day. The caveman that was overweight didn't make it out. He's the one who got eaten. Yeah. Right. So like your body's not supposed to carry that much weight. Because you need to be mobile. And that's the other thing. Like, so movement is medicine, right? We talk about back in the 70s, 60s, wherever smoking was the thing. Now it's sitting and being sedentary, right? And so now if you are overweight and you're sedentary, you're just setting yourself up for a future you do not want, right? So it's really about, not only can you get healthier, you can feel better, you can look better. Guess what? Your skin's even going to look better with the exercise. Yes. Right. So if you're beautiful now, 50 pounds overweight, think of how even extra beautiful you're going to be losing the weight and happier. Right. So for you, what's the next goal we're working on?
The next goal.
Yeah. Because it's always important to set goals, right?
Yeah, I do have goals. I got to lose at least 30.
So for a total of 60?
40 more pounds would be better.
Okay.
In the new year, I intend to go to Gong meditation as many times as possible.
Okay.
Because I love that, and I haven't done that in a long time. And that makes me feel good. And like just anything to better myself.
It feels like you're really on a journey now, which is pretty exciting.
It is. And it's exciting, like, because I've done this before. Like I've been on this journey before, so I know where it's going to lead me. And so I know what the finish line looks like.
Is there a finish line?
No.
Right.
That was a trick question.
Yeah.
I know how good it's going to feel just doing what I set out to do.
I'm excited for you, right? I'm excited just because you can feel it, right? I can just feel like the change in you. Like, I'm excited for you. And I'm like, let's do it together. So I think it's just the constant improvement, right? It's not getting comfortable. It's like the constant improvement. Now, with that being said, if you're never comfortable, that's stress inducing.
Yeah.
But when I say that, it's like, push yourself a little further, try a little bit harder, like do different things, put yourself out of the comfort zone. Because that's where the changes kind of happen. Exactly. Right? So what advice do you have for people who were in your shoes, right? Let's say they roller coastered the weight. They lost 30, they put on 35. They lost 20, they put on 45. They lost weight with kickboxing and they're like, kickboxing won't help me lose weight, right? Like where you're at right now, they're at where you were at 6 months ago or whatever. If you want to look in the camera and just, what would you tell them?
We have to look in the camera?
Yeah, this is a big operation.
I would say start today, do what you can, build yourself up to what you have to do, like join kickboxing or, whatever you're going to do to get there. You don't have to be perfect within the first day or week or even month.
Ever.
Take your time, ease into it. You have to start. You have to start.
And so what's the key to starting?
Just deciding. That's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick a thing and then that's going to be what I'm going to do.
And that's what you did.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
But I've been here before. So like I said, when it came down to making that decision, it wasn't like a question of where I was going to go or how I was going to do it.
But it's the decision that now it's really time to change.
Right.
And once I think they make that decision and then they make it a priority, then you're good.
You're good.
Right? So in your journey, we're not going to fall off now because Julie will always be the priority for Julie. Right? Yes. And that's how you become the best Julie.
Yes.
So we're all really proud of you. Josh always gives me the updates. He knows you're a rock star. I'm knowing you for so long, truly excited because I think this is like the happiest I've seen you. Right. Yeah. And yeah, right. Like in the most like,
oh my God, I could be way happier. So you're going to explode.
Yes, I know. I definitely will. But no, just keep it up. We're proud of you. And we'll have to do another podcast when we're down the extra 30, 40.
Yes.
Sounds
definitely.
Good.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Marc Bochner. Don't forget to check out my new book, Pug Learns to Believe. Hey guys, Dr. Marc here. Now I know a lot of you want to know how we get all these amazing results with our clients, and it comes down to 3 things. The first is fun fitness classes that burn a lot of calories. 2 is giving you an accountability coach to make sure you stay on track and get the best results. And 3 is the nutrition. Included in the nutrition is our food supplements. So we pair with Prestige Labs because I feel they are the best, they have integrity, and they get great results. These are actually the supplements that I take as well. Here's the awesome part. By clicking the link below, you can save 40% off the retail price. So you need that link to actually save 40%. If you just go to the normal site without my link, you're paying full price, okay? So these are the supplements my clients use. If you are interested, definitely click the link below and it'll tell you all about them.